Hello, I'm Judith Henry, and I'm here to show you today how to put together my new church wedding card. It's a tunnel card that is in the shape of a church and when you open up the front of it, you see inside the church, which is a wedding party and the congregation for a wedding. There are places on the card where you can put your own personalized sentiments, and it's more difficult with printing than it is with putting together. So I will explain some of that as we go along. The first pieces that I want to show you are the church pieces. They are print and cut, and on the back I have given you a sheet that you can print on the back side before you cut so that you can have a different color on the back side. The windows have no trim on it unless you want to use the extension piece that has black trim that you can cut and glue onto them. They really do not show, but the openings of the windows does give light inside the tunnel. So let's start with these two to put it together. Each one of these pieces has a little strip along the edge. This edge is your glue strip to make the box. So make sure that when you cut these out, by the way, the cutting of the files does have a bleed edge and score lines that do graze the paper if you're using a cutting machine. Otherwise, you need to do this on a fold, because this kit comes in both a card making kit and a cutting file kit. But I've put double-sided adhesive on the edge on both of these pieces, and it goes together like a box. So let's take the strips off and lay them down end to end. And as you can see, it's going to make a box with a lid. Now there are embellishments that I had printed to add to the effect of what's in the back of the church. So this piece you will glue on here. I've made this where I have had it on as a backside print, but it's very difficult to get it to center on each page, so I made it separate, and you glue that on with just a little adhesive. And I'm using a wet glue. If you have other method that you like to use, you can use adhesive strips. You could print this piece on sticker plate paper. The background on the pictures you can see is the same color as I give you for the backing. Okay, so now you can see that the church actually has an altar at the front. Now the front of the church is also a place that I have a piece that you will glue down. This is the bridge that comes up to close up the church. On it, I have a piece that looks like the front of the church. And again, you will just glue it down on that. This other side is where you can put your own kind of sentiment. So for the couple that I made this for, I put my wedding verse that I would be giving them inside a card on this one. On the back of the church, I put their wedding date. So let's prepare this one by putting this little print on the back side and glue it down like we did for the back of the church. You will also notice that I put score tape on the back of this because it will be going up against this piece, and we will glue that down onto it. Makes a nice finish. So let's do that. With score tape, I tend to fold down the edges. That way I can register it without it completely sticking. Because you've got this little cross up here you have to register. And register down the sides. It's a long piece, so you don't want to get it skewed. It's hard to see, but this front side piece does look like there's flower petals from the little flower girl that she's thrown on the floor. Okay. We now can close up our house, our church. My husband said, oh, this is like the children's story, you know, that you learned as a kid in church. Here's the church, here's the steeple, open the door, see all the people. We laughed. Okay. So there's a church, and the top piece has little notches that fit into little holes that hold it down, that allows it to be taken apart and closed up so you can store it. Otherwise it just folds down. Now you notice that there's a hole right here, and it should have a steeple piece coming up through it. Well, that is where your bride and groom come in. It's the back half of the steeple. So it's the last one that you put in, and you want to put these in with the roof open. And really, these pieces can be put in any order that you want to. I usually start with Grandpa standing at the front. And again, it has little tabs on it that fit into the tabs on the side of the wall. So yes, you will have little tabs sitting out on the outside of the wall, but that's a part of the tunnel. And I'm just going to continue to put my pieces in. You can see already it's starting to make a scene inside. I put in this piece in the back. You can put in whatever order you want to. Makes it look like they're coming down the aisle. And I like this one in second, third. See how they're fitting in. And then the bride and groom are looking like they're coming out the door. It's a little close when you're doing the very last one. Kind of have to work around. Okay, that's all assembled except for the supporting piece. And this piece, as you can see, is just a box, and it has, I put glue siding tape so that it would go in this way. So let's put that one in. This just gives the steeple a little more support. So you can see what I'm doing here. And then you glue it to the back. And you could use adhesive on the back part too. I'm going to use glue. Now this card lays flat, and it goes into an envelope just the way it's at. And there is an envelope that comes with it because it's an A9 size. You may need to do a little trimming. I noticed that I didn't get the box up high enough, and so I've got some sticky there. You also might want to put some movable, I have the Velcro style tape that you can put on the front here and one on here so that it'll close. And it just is a very nice little keepsake. So I hope you enjoy putting it together.